guys, so you're probably expecting like an actual video of me and not expecting to see PNG Katelyn, but while I'm editing and finishing this video, I don't know if you can hear it, but I am extremely under the weather. My nose is totally red. I'm very much Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, so today it's PNG Katelyn. But either way, even with me feeling under the weather, I have a really fun video for you guys today. So I got an awesome opportunity to collaborate with Popcross Studios and Dempsey J Illustrations. We had a really fun time challenging each other to do some monster and character fusion mashes. So how this worked is I picked a base monster on my own that I wanted as one of the fusion creatures to be in 2 different fusions that I make. And then Popcross Studios gives me one and Dempsey J gives me another to fuse with my base monster. I'll reveal to you guys what my base monsters are once we get into the video, but this was such a fun time, and make sure to check out Popcross Studio and Dempsey J's videos as well, where I challenge them with a couple of different cool creatures for them to combine with their characters and creatures. So without further ado, let's go to real life film Katelyn from a few weeks ago, where I wasn't sick and feeling like death. All right, let's jump into the video. All right, so I am ready for whatever you guys are going to throw at me. I'm excited to create whatever this monster combo is going to be. So I guess we'll start with Christian. What do you got for me?
All right, so there's the first one I'm going to give you is one that I absolutely love. Might be, I guess nowadays might be a little bit on the niche side, but I also think it's a very cool design. And I'm very excited to see what you specifically will do with it. And that is Black War Greymon from Digimon.
Yes, I love Digimon. I actually thought about challenging one of you guys with just Greymon, but oh my god, Greymon.
That was almost what I gave you instead, because I was going to go with the Tarask from D&D, which then made me think of Greymon. And then I was like, Greymon is one of my favorite designs from anything, but it's also a little bit limited in terms of how much design he actually has. So I was like, let's go with, first I thought War Greymon, then I was like, I like Black War Greymon better. Let's go with that.
Oh my god, yeah, I love Black War Greymon. Yes, I haven't done Digimon yet, so this is exciting.
I made sure to look that up, and I was like, I don't see you having a Digimon episode anywhere, which I was like, that surprises me a bit, but also that's a good thing, because something you haven't worked with.
It's perfect, yeah. Awesome, thank you.
No problem.
And then, John, what do you got for me? You got a cool character or creature for me to mash?
Yeah, I do. So, going on your monster mashup theme, this is kind of a monster mashup as it is, and I've done another character from Guyver because you haven't used it before, and this is another Zoanoid, and this is Enzyme 2. So, this is kind of like the main character's worst nightmare. He's basically got enzymes that can break down the bio armor that he has and stop him using his best weapons. So it's kind of like this giant insect type creature with fur, and it just kind of like felt like it'd match with your kind of style, but at the same time something you haven't done.
That is really cool. I love that design. I haven't seen this before, and it's dope. I really like the plating plus the fur and like those extra little grabby arms are really cool. So that is going to be really fun to work with. All right, so let me show you my pick from ahead of time to fuse with these creatures, and it is Ghidorah from Godzilla. I'm really excited to jump into this. So let's get some sketches going and figure out how we're going to fuse these creatures. So I totally forgot to hit record once I got into this and started it, so I accidentally missed the thumbnailing that I did ahead of time. But as you can see on the left, I did like an initial idea thumbnail that I wasn't really digging. It was like okay, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted, and so I started developing this one as like just another rough thumbnail sketch idea, because I was gonna probably do like 3 to figure out how I wanted to lay out these character fusions. And when I got to the second one, I was like, actually, I really like this look. I like this overall pose, and I like how I combine the different elements of the characters. So this one ended up being actually the final drawing. I usually try to do a couple of different thumbnails ahead of time to try to figure out, I guess, what's going to be the strongest design and just like the best use of the different elements of the characters. But for this one, I just was like, hey, I really like this second rough sketch, so let's go with it. I like the pose, and it shows a lot of the different elements from the different fusion beasts and characters. And it just is like a really cool and dynamic pose where I can show off a lot of the different design elements, and then you get a really good sense of kind of this fusion. So with that figured out, I did a little bit of a cleanup on the sketch because I wanted to make sure to nail like certain looks. A lot of the times I do like a rough sketch and then I jump right into line art just so I can just get right into the details and start drawing it that way. But this one, I was struggling a little bit with how I wanted the heads to work. So I was like, okay, I'll do another slightly rough sketch on top of it so I could figure out what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that all the faces looked similar, or at least the same, just with the different angles. And I kept going back and forth on what detailing I wanted to add to these. At first, I had the little grabby arms from Enzyme up on the neck, and I thought that looked okay in my initial like very rough sketch. But once I tried to like clean it up and like actually place the arms in certain areas, I was not digging it. So I ended up omitting that design choice in general, just so it didn't take away from the future ideas of that really cool ectoplasm-y drool and like really showing the detailing of the face. So yeah, I was really surprised. I'll talk about it more later in the video, but I thought this one was going to be the easier of the two because I mostly do monster and creature designs. So I was like, oh cool, this is going to be a lot of creature-based combinations, but this one ended up being kind of a challenge. I know I don't really work with like mech type of look per se that often, and War Greymon was just like that right amount that I liked having some of the mechanical stuff, but it was also a little bit of a challenge on like how I wanted to convert it to this overall body shape. But I think I nailed what I was envisioning in my brain. Just having the cool like plating going along its necks and back from Enzyme and like combining it with the Metal War Greymon colors and look worked out really well. I think the Greymon Digivolutions are some of my favorites, so I was just excited to be able to integrate so many of the pieces that I love from War Greymon. Like I love the really cool big claw arms and like the armoring and then the like metal skull helmet type of thing he has. I just really love the Greymon Volution series, and I'm surprised I haven't worked with Digimon before. I don't know why, but I guess it just never came up in videos, so I'm very happy that I've finally got to add one into one of my monster mashes. If you guys also like Digimon and seeing it in the monster mashes and things, let me know in the comments because like I'd love to add it into the repertoire of things to combine in the future, because I was a huge fan of Digimon and Pokemon. I mean, I still am a fan of Pokemon, but there hasn't been as much like great Digimon content since like the 90s, 2000s. There probably has been, but it just hasn't really been on my radar as much. I feel like the 90s and the 2000s were the heyday of Digimon. But if there's some new content I should check out, let me know in the comments too, because like I am not in the know of Digimon anymore, but they have to still be making stuff. At least I would hope, because it was a really big series back in the day. But anyway, back to talking about this creation. So later down the process, when I started getting the base colors in, at first I struggled with exactly what colors I wanted to put where, because Ghidorah's gold I really liked, but it kind of clashed in certain areas with the greens and the blacks. Like it worked, but I just couldn't have too much or too little of it. So I was trying to find that nice equal balance of having the gold from Ghidorah with these other colors, because like the green already melded so well with the dark grays and blacks from War Greymon. I just thought it looked really striking to have that greenish white fur right against the metal plating and the black chunks on its arms and chest and back of the necks. I thought that worked really well, but at first I wasn't really sure about the gold on the wings. But once I added the black arms and I guess you could call it the fingers of the wings, once I made those not gold, I was like, okay, this is the perfect amount. Because when it was all gold, I felt it just didn't look like it was cohesive with the monster. Nothing was meshing up with it, and it just looked like the wings were kind of slapped on. But adding that black coloring to the skin and to the fingers of the wings just really helped attach it to the rest of the character. So in the end, I really like how this turned out. I'm really happy with being able to combine these three in such a effective way. Like I said, I was surprised that this one was the more difficult of the two, and you'll find out here in a second why, but I really thought this one was going to be the easy one, but the second one actually was my favorite of the two. All right, and you had another monster for me to work with?
Yes, actually, in this case, not a monster, a character that I absolutely love. Again, I'm excited to see what you do with her. And that is Vi from Arcane.
Oh my god, yeah, I love Arcane.
Yes, it's so good. The image I'm gonna send you is technically her League of Legends design. I was picturing more the design from Arcane, a little bit simpler, also a little bit more stylish. Well, I guess they both have their own stylistic details to them, but yeah, Vi from Arcane. I love anything with gigantic fists. I love that kind of design, and that show in general. Just immediately after I finished it, I went back and started it again. It's so good.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was so good. But yeah, I love her design, and like I could see combining a couple things with her overall look. So I'm excited for that one.
Nice.
All right, John, what do you got for me?
Okay, so I'm a big anime fan and I like Dragon Ball. So I've decided to give you Beerus, the God of Destruction from Dragon Ball.
I love Beerus.
I thought it'd be quite cool with the whole sort of like the humanoid shape of him and that, and this God of Destruction. You could have a lot of fun with that, but also the colours of him as well. He's got quite a nice colour set on his character and his design. So yeah.
Yeah, it's got a lot of nice colors and patterns that I could work with, and then I do really like his overall design. It just has like such a fun, like Anubis kind of vibe, like Anubis adjacent. So this will be awesome. So with those two characters, it's time to show you what I picked ahead of time, and it was the Magnamalo from Monster Hunter. So now I got to combine this with Beerus and Vi. So let's jump in and do some sketches. So like I alluded in the previous Monster Fusion, this one I actually found the easier of the two. So I do draw like humans in general during like my comic creation stuff and a couple of character design challenges here on the channel, but I mostly focus on like monsters and monster fusions for the most part. So when both John and Chris gave me like a humanoid to figure out, I'm like, okay. I was really intimidated because I don't think I've really done a monster mash on the channel that uses a humanoid shape. I mean, the closest might be like an ape or a monkey or a chimpanzee or something like that, but I haven't used like a human. So I was a little intimidated at first, but after sitting and thinking about it for a bit, I had like an initial like gut reaction on how to combine these. So for this one, I actually didn't do any thumbnailing because I felt really confident about the vision I had. I did struggle a bit with the pose at first, but then I finally nailed one that I thought would be both dynamic and really cool, and also show off like a lot of the detailing and design work I was planning to do with this character. And so this one, though, on the other hand, when I was talking about earlier with like mech designs, I don't really do mechanical stuff as much. I did design like one robotic dragon for my 100 Dragon challenge, and that was gnarly. That was a lot of work. But this one, what was nice was like while Vi's gauntlets are pretty mechanical and kind of like, not like steampunk, but I guess future steampunk. At least that's how I kind of see it in my brain. I was able to incorporate some of the more natural elements from the Magnamalo armoring that worked really well. So I both could have the mechanical feel and look, but also have some of that natural element to it. So it was a little bit more organic plus mechanical kind of combo. And so with those figured out and this overall sketch figured out, I got really stuck into the detailing, and this was really fun. I had a blast. I don't know if this would ever be able to be used as like a League skin, but I could see this being like an interesting, like I don't know. It makes me feel like Egyptian god vibes in a way, probably because of like the Beerus collar that I added to Vi, but added kind of the Magnamalo scale patterning type of thing again. But I think this would be a really fun skin in League. I know that probably will never happen. I don't know why I'm saying probably. It won't happen. I don't work for Riot, but it would be really cool either way. And I was really excited to keep developing this more during this process because, like I said, I really liked the organic aspects, and the Magnamalo is my favorite monster from Monster Hunter. Like, it's so cool. I love that one and the Nargacuga. I think those are my top 2 favorites. I just realized I think I have a thing for like cool giant cats with superpowers. So I was really excited to add the Magnamalo into this fusion competition because I actually haven't really, or not competition, whatever, fusion challenge. But I haven't really used Monster Hunter characters very much on the channel. Like, we've had a couple things here and there, but I haven't really been able to explore it as much. Plus, Monster Hunter is kind of a new love for me. I just started getting into it with Monster Hunter Rise. So I'm kind of new to the fandom, and I love it, and I don't know how I didn't get into it sooner. So yeah, I was really excited to use the Magnamalo, and then just like Chris, I really like Arcane, so I was very excited to use Vi in something. I really would love to do like more fan art of different shows and characters that I really like, because that's something I don't really do too much, but I think I really need to draw some Vi fan art one of these days. It's just so cool. So I guess this could be like almost like the first Vi fan art that I do. So later on in the process, like right here when I'm starting to do the blocking of colors, some of it was a little bit easier to figure out because I was like, okay, like I'll follow kind of the Vi Magnamalo combo, because luckily Vi and the Magnamalo have like similar colors. I mean, honestly, all 3 of these characters have very similar colors. So I lucked out a little bit with this color palette choice, but I just didn't know when to use certain colors or patterns because I feel like the Magnamalo, Vi, and Beerus have very distinct design choices and colors and patterns to them, and I didn't want to overwhelm this design in general. So like with different aspects of the design, like later on, like right here with the I don't know what you call it, but the like Beerus belt flap thing. There's probably an official word for it. I ended up not adding the diamonds because I just felt it was like a little bit too busy because we already had so much detailing in the cuffs. But then I wanted to add like little segments of detailing like on the collar that has the Magnamalo armoring. I put a little bit of the pattern from Vi's like shirt jacket on the collar as well. And I just wanted to add like those little things, but I didn't want to like overwhelm the design too much. But yeah, like I said, I feel I really lucked out on the color palette for these characters. It all just melded so well, and they already shared like a very similar color family in general. So it was really easy to put them together and mash them together in a really nice, cohesive way. A little bit later on in this recording, I'm just letting you guys know, I forgot to hit record again. So I ended up missing a few of the detailing things when I go into more of like the special effects that I add on top of this character. So I apologize, but I thought I'd bring that up in advance. So if you see a random jump, that might be why. And I wanted for this one to have like really dynamic lighting. So you'll see here in a little bit, I really wanted to push those darks and lights with the Magnamalo flames. So I first started with laying down those intense darks for the shading to make sure that I could figure out how bright to push the flames, and then I later on go in more and make certain areas even darker so that I can really get that really cool contrast from those amazing purple pink flames. And there we have it, just adding in the last little bit of detailing. I added the stripes from Vi's pants because it ended up working really well. And then we got the really nice hit of flames. I really love how this one turned out. Okay, so I finished my monsters, and I'm going to send you guys what I got. This first one surprisingly ended up being the easier of the two. I thought this was going to be the harder one because, I don't know, I like doing humanoids, but I also don't do them super often. So I was a little hesitant, but here is my first one.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's really nice, that one.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah.
This one, I just felt like the Magnamalo with like Vi's colors would work really well, and then
throwing in Beerus too, like both because he was another humanoid and his colors just worked really well. I was like, this is gonna be great.
Yeah, I really dig the flamey energy pink swirl over the like bone jutting out of the wrists. That's a really cool element.
Yeah, I just like the whole contrast, like the colors combined with the purple. Like you've got the primary colors, but the nice bounce of them as well. So it really just pops and stands out.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like really happy with how the colors all jived. So it was really fun. And then the second one basically ended up being more complicated for me. The monster fusion, it just kind of broke my brain. It took me a couple thumbnails to nail this because I was like, I don't know why it was so hard. Maybe it's just like a lot of elements I wanted to put in one thing.
Ooh. Oh wow, I love the kind of like the glowing drool from the mouth as well.
Yeah,
the
glowing drool and the glowing, like, I don't even know what the segments on its chest and shoulder, like connecting tissue or something.
Yeah, right.
But that glow is really nice, and props for doing anytime I have to do a multi-headed creature, I'm always like, oh boy, I gotta draw this same head in a bunch of different perspectives and make sure it looks the same in all of them. So you did good with that.
Thank you. Yeah, he was a lot. He took a very long time.
Yeah.
Big beefy drawing.
definitely looks awesome, that one.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the fact that the glow also goes throughout the body, kind of like the bioenergy you get with the whole sort of like monster kaiju feel as well.
Oh yeah,
which is quite nice.
Thank you. Yeah, as soon as I saw the cool like glowing like drool from Enzyme, I'm like, I have to put that in, and then I just thought it'd be cool for it to like almost look like it's running through its body, to just be like welled up and spit out type of thing. So
yeah, that looks really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Well, thanks for the fun challenge. Like, these were really intense and fun, and I never would have picked these characters to go together, but I think they turned out really cool.
So thanks again to Popcross Studios and Dempsey J for doing this really fun collaboration with me and giving me some awesome monsters to combine and make these really cool monster mashes. So make sure to go check out Popcross Studios and Dempsey J illustrations, check out their channels, and then also check out their videos where I challenge them with these different monsters to create some really cool creatures and characters. But either way, thank you guys again so much for stopping by and checking out this video. And if you aren't already, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, join our little community of nerdy monster enthusiasts, and I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.